What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream. Man, it feels good. Hey, it's not Victory Monday. This is Victory Tuesday. Gotta win at the bank. I was in shock because after they scored and went up 27-20, I was like, it's a wrap. It's over, especially after Trevor fumbled. And Luke Fortner saved it. The mayor crunched him. I'm talking about crunched him. And I said, his arm coming forward. It's coming forward. And they showed the replay. I said it wasn't coming forward, but Luke Fortner got on it. And I was like, hey, that when they went for two, I knew they were going for two. I was like, it's so gutsy. But man, great win, all around team win. One of the things that I did observe from Sunday as well, Lamar Jackson is holding the Baltimore offense together with spit and duct tape. Like his fans are insufferable, of course, and especially the Ravens fans that are against him or whatever, don't want to get him paid. But I don't know if they realize if they take Lamar off that team, they in the lottery. That team is not a good team. I mean, Lamar played a great game. His passing grade was the highest all week. Played an amazing game. He had the highest passing grade, people. Not the highest running grade, the passing grade, and they still doubt it. But we see that with Trevor. That's why now people who doubt Trevor say stuff about Trevor. I ain't got no problem with it because they doubting the MVP in Baltimore. So, Hey, I get it's part of the game. It's the nature of the position. But once again, I got my co-host with me, Mr. Reed. We back in this thing. How you feeling, sir?
Feeling good, man. I need to get on here and do some rapping.
Hey, I was listening to this. I was like, I remember this from the Michael Jordan documentary, Last Dance, when they was going. It was like I think it was in the middle of the documentary, and this came on, but they got Lauren singing in the beginning. She like that. Ooh, I was like, man, what song was that? I say that's If I Rule the World. I said I got to get that.
Yeah, but I echo what you're saying, man. You know, when is Lamar? What Lamar got to do? Win 3 Super Bowls will get respect as an all-around great quarterback. I just think that if you ain't gonna believe believe in him now, then you're not gonna believe in him. You know, and I still think there's too much perceptions out there, man. This guy is a great quarterback. And the same one in Jacksonville. You know, I never threw Trevor Lawrence under the bus. You know, he had some growing pains to get done, but I ain't ready to annoy him either.
Right. Hey, 3 games. It's only 3 games. He's played well. He's been I've seen his stats for the month. He's been the top rated passer, touchdowns, passer rating, completion percentage for this month in these last 3 games. Hey, and the Jaguar fans who, didn't have any doubt in him are not surprised by what they're seeing. I like what Doug Peterson said. Doug said that the light bulb for him has always been on. He said It's just been getting brighter over the last month. And they say as he continues to grasp the offense, man, it's only up from here. So like Sunday, they couldn't stop Zay Jones. Zay Jones was killing them. His lateral quickness, they just couldn't stick him. Marcus Peters is cooked. He's done. He had a bad day. I think they had 3 touchdowns on him. But I was looking, I'm like, just imagine if they had to cover Calvin Ridley in this game as well.
Yeah. But you know what, man? I think one of the most important things, I listen, Lord knows, I'm still listening at news conferences after football games. But I think one of the most important things that Doug Peterson said after the game, and they got to continue to do this, man, in this league, you have to take advantage of your players. You have to take advantage of their strengths. And sometimes you have to, I call alternate your playbook, meaning that you have to get these guys in position to make plays, regardless of what the play design is. If something working on the left side and it's Marvin Jones or Zay Jones or is open, and you take advantage of it. And I think that's what they did. I think that's the thing they did better in the second half. They threw out sort of like the playbook, scripted playbook, and then they put in plays that would best utilize those receivers. Your best running back is on the sideline. They as a precaution more than anything, I assume. But ETN was in on the sideline, so you going with your passing attack with the quarterback, and I think they took advantage of what they could get from particularly Jones, and that's what you do, man. I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying this the whole time. You have to take advantage of what you got on your roster. I don't care if he can run fast. I don't care if he's just a curl route specialist. There are certain designs in the defense, wrinkles of whatever the weak points is. You got guys on this football team. You have to find those weak points, utilize your quarterback, and get the ball to these guys. And I think that the 2-point play, the 2-point conversion success. What do they do?
Yeah. Let me get some of these comments. Pastor Palmer in the building. He say, "What up?" As they say, and that South Carolina. Let chew the fat. Okay. And Jakari say improvements indeed. You say ESPN hate we won that game. Yeah, the hate is real, man. But you should be used to that by now. The media have when it comes to the Jags. You should. 2017 was a great year because the hate was real. The fact we won, and I like the fact that we won, but it was the people speaking against the Jags, man. That was the real treat. He said, I think the Jags are going to beat the Cowboys. That's mighty high praise there, man. But I will say this. It's some people who are going to make that prediction because they are the Cowboys. I mean, and they've been the Cowboys. As good as they played, yeah, Dak is good. You got Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, OBJ supposed to be meeting with them, so they may get him. But, we'll see. But the Cowboys going cowboy. You see, Hasty stepped up. Hasty, man, yeah, especially in the passing game. I think that was the lowest amount of rushing yards in the history of the franchise, and to win a game. Like, they never won a game with that few rushing yards. And I think they were 0-162 when trailing under 2 minutes in franchise. They had never won a game. That was the first time in franchise history they had won a game.
Yeah,
after trailing
7 points or more. First time.
7 points or more for first time. Hey, somebody said, how many times has Brady won a game in that span if we done lost 162 of them?
But I tell you what, though, man, for all the faithful, that kick looked good. It just fell short.
Yeah. It's if that was a 64-yard field goal, it would have been good.
Yeah. But you got to give praise to the Jags, man, because I know there's a lot of people sitting in their living rooms and they're down. I hear you talking about a defense with some stellar guys on their defense, one of the best defensive, I feel one of the better defensive fronts in the league. And here you have a team go 80 yards down the field to win the football game, and they are the Jaguars that did it. So, we've experienced a lot of pain over the years. I mean, there's no way in the heck that this team could have done this over the last 3 years. I would predict, regardless who was coaching them, and just to see these guys come in, pull out a home victory like that in that fashion, and here's your quarterback. He played like a number one pick. He played like the quarterback that we know, who's at Clemson, and took him to a national championship as a freshman. Yeah. And, I ain't never stopped believing in this kid, man. We can go back and check these tapes of this show. I never threw this kid under the bus.
You criticize those who criticize them. Yeah.
It's like, man, if this kid has won at every level, and that's what people got to understand. He's won at every level. This is the hardest level you can play in football in the world. There's no level out there that's comparable to this NFL level. And it takes time. You gotta, if you really look at the reality, he wasted his rookie year last year. He didn't really have a rookie year. It just was a wasted year with all the commotion and all that. Now I feel that he has his stability is one thing, but he has a quarterback coach who's a head coach, but you know, if you watch his progress over the last 4 games, 3 games, and you can just see that he's always had the arm. I mean, I still go back to that Houston game. There was a pass that he shouldn't have thrown it, but you know, hey, what second year quarterback? I almost about to call him a rookie because I didn't feel he had a year last year, to be honest. He had to deal with too much.
He did.
But you know, discipline, you learn discipline by experience, and I think that was more of the mistake, discipline more than anything, that he felt he could strong arm a throw against anybody. But when you watch what he did in that game, when you watch that touchdown pass, I mean, this kid got an arm, and he knows it. He can get the ball in quick. Man, he was under duress. He was under tremendous pressure. Still got the ball out of his hands, still made plays. And I think you're looking at as we say, I think you're looking at a franchise quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that position. I think the Jaguars finally got it right at quarterback. And I just feel the next step is get more players so he could take advantage. You got to put weapons around the kid, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the Joneses. I like the Kirks, but he needs more. He needs more weapons. He needs more specialized help. He needs a speed. Right.
He needs speed. Give him some speed, some real speed. Yeah, that's all you need.
If you put those weapons around him, then you're gonna get these performances all the time. But I say this, man. We in Jacksonville, we gotta learn how to I don't even know the right word. We gotta learn how to stop putting things so heavy-handed. We gotta stop putting things so up here because we put it way up to the clouds. We're facing the letdown, because if this kid go out here the next 2 weeks, and they can conceivably lose the next 2 games. The Detroit ain't what Detroit is good.
Detroit ain't no punk. Yeah. Yeah.
They put points on the board, they got a decent defense. And then I believe you turn around that next week and you got the Cowboys. So they could go 0-2, and he could not be, he may be totally different.
Yeah.
So we gotta get in this mindset. I don't think there should be no question that this kid is what the franchise. He's their quarterback for the future. He's their quarterback for next week. He's their quarterback for next month. He's going to be their quarterback for the next 3, 4, 5, probably 10 years. Yeah. And we got to start thinking on those lines that we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about that position. That shouldn't even be a topic of conversation anymore. And it's not just based on this game. I hear all this, this is his shining moment. This is the moment where we're going to go back and remember that he finally took that step. Yeah, that might be true. But I feel this kid got more moments, and he's going to have more moments this season. Yeah. You got to assess him on, did he make the jump? Everybody going to talk about that. Did he make the jump? Did he make the jump as a second-year quarterback? I think he's already done.
Check the stats. Yeah, check the stats. He's made a significant jump. He's basically flipped his touchdown interception ratio. He's flipped it already. Like it's amazing. Let me get a couple of these comments. They piling up. They say Tobias side. Somebody new. I appreciate you watching the show. He said F the Jags. Hey, you like the Jags. That's why you're in your feelings. You like the Jags. He say, so y'all think Lawrence is a franchise QB? Yes, sir. Yes. And with your profile picture looking like the Chocolate Factory R. Kelly album cover. I don't know what you got going on there, sir. But yes, he is a franchise quarterback. Barber J Mac in the building. What's going on? He said Lawrence walked Baltimore down. He did that. Yes, he did. Kassan called it. Kassan called it. He said Tennessee was gonna lose to Georgia, and then he said Gamecocks was gonna beat Tennessee, and then he got some extra credit too. They blew the doors off of Clemson. Spencer Rattler. I guess whatever issues that he had at Oklahoma, he's probably immature and whatever, but it's very obvious, Mr. Reed, Spencer Rattler can play.
Yeah, they gave up on him in Oklahoma. Yeah, they gave up. You know, they didn't think about the year he had before last season.
Yeah. Dude, that kid can play. And Caleb Williams is good. Don't get me wrong. Caleb Williams is good too. Spencer Rattler can play. He said, hey, J Max said they not beating Dallas though. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. Because it is Dallas. They look good, but it is Dallas. He said Detroit, then Jets, then Cowboys. Yeah. So like if they beat Detroit next week and Tennessee loses, I mean, you're looking at you basically control your own destiny at that point. And so then you got the Jets, you got the Cowboys, which the Jets are a playoff team. Mike White. Now, I'd rather face Zach Wilson than Mike White. Like put Zach Wilson back in there. And of course, the Cowboys are, they playing like a juggernaut right now. You haven't won in Tennessee in a decade. That's gonna be tough regardless.
So they play the Titans after the Cowboys, huh?
Yeah. The Titans, Houston, in Houston. You ain't beat them since Deshaun Watson was a rookie. And then Tennessee in Jacksonville last home game. He said, my moment was the Las Vegas win. Oh, okay. That was your moment for Trevor, the Las Vegas win. Yeah, that coming back, him in those moments, he's starting to answer the bell in those moments. That's what's really gotten it for me. The stats are good. Yeah, 321, 29 to 37, 3 touchdowns. That's cool. But in pressure moments, Jermichael Hasty said that he was poised, he was calm, and that permeated to the rest of the team. And he led them right down the field. You say Bobby J. Yeah, man. So man, it's overall great team win. But like you said, I think this year is going to catapult them into next year.
Oh, yeah, that's what they're playing for. I mean,
yeah. They got to fix some issues on the defense. Some of the things. Now I will say, whatever they worked on during the bye week, you need to continue to go that route because the defense, they had their moments, but early on, Baltimore could have easily scored 40 points in that game. But when Baltimore got into the red zone, they had to settle for 4 field goals. That was one of the biggest differences in the game. Devon Hamilton played a whale of a game. Josh Allen, once again, he's
well, don't forget his sidekick. He ain't done nothing either. So.
Trayvon had a holding call on him. They called back a play or whatever. But I believe they're playing out of position though. It's very clear to me. They need to put their hand in the ground.
You know what, man? They need to go and look at tape of the top pass edge. Where the top edge rushers in the league.
Yeah.
Look at
give him Von Miller tape. Give Trayvon Von Miller tape.
But this is the story for both those guys, man. And if you look at the real edge rushers, they do more than one move, man. It takes more than one move to get to the quarterback, And I think that's the two things.
Before we forget, you got to give some love to Dewey. You knew it was coming. Oh, you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Dewey showed up Sunday. I like the role that they have him in. Yeah. Dewey has a role and he's playing it. Like, of course, don't hopefully he doesn't get isolated and covered for sure. Oh man, look who it is. Man. Oh, and now you gone. You gonna shoot me the bird and now you gone. Hey, he a Ravens fan. Hey, Amp, come on, man. It's all love. I love Lamar.
Team, man.
Yeah, it's all love. It's all love. I love Lamar. It's all love. But yeah, it's the Kassan say next 3 games are critical. They must at least get a split 1-1, 2 road games with some sort of motivation towards Cowboys game. Yeah. And I think they have motivation, I'm sure. But I'm just going to enjoy this ride for what it is now.
Me too.
Yeah, I ain't putting no expectations on it. I'm not nothing.
Nothing. I told you 4-7 is it the rest that record. I'm not predicting playoffs.
Yeah, I was telling one of my homegirls, I say I kind of just wish they would have had go ahead and laid down and go ahead and lose out, so I ain't got no more hope, and I ain't got to be because like once I know they mathematically eliminated, it's like whatever. But now it's kind of like giving hope. So, but we'll let it ride.
And I like to comment on Shakari there. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got to develop that bull rush now, man. What we in week 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? We going into week 13.
yeah,
It's time to develop that bull rush now, man. We don't have to wait till next year. That ain't like you got to go through chemistry class to learn how to do the bull rush and spin moves. So he's got to learn how to. I think he's coming up too high. I think he's forceful. But
mm-hmm.
he got to go into that toolbox, man, and know when to spin, know when to get off the rush, and know how to read. You know, he's got to. I mean, he just going straight up bull rushing, and if you're gonna be an edge rusher in this league to get some sacks, there's double-digit sacks. You got to do more than that, man. So it's repetition. I think he needs more repetition in coaching. I mean, these coaches got to do a better job of getting him in the position where he feel comfortable making those other moves, man. You got to have a B plan,
Mm-hmm.
C plan, D plan. It might need to develop a E and on plan, but it's time for that to start now, man.
Yeah, it is. You see, Anthony say, "Love you, bro." LOL. That was a trap game, and I told people we was losing this game. They still ain't listening. Betted with us. Oh, so hey, even though y'all lost, so you was eating steak and lobster through your tears. That's what I'm talking about. You went out in style. That's what I'm talking about, man. But yeah, Trayvon has to develop more, and just they edge rusher, another edge rusher. You got to go get another edge rusher. You got to go get another corner. Though that deep ball to Deshaun Jackson, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, dude, I about had a heart attack. I say, how in the world do you let Deshaun Jackson, he is like 54 years old, how you let him get behind you like that? But dude, he can still fly.
Yeah, but you gotta, I don't know if 31 was on him or whoever was on him. They got to do a better job with that. But back to the Dewey.
Dewey. Yeah, back to Dewey.
Hey, man, they came up with a scheme that worked. I know he's the toast of town. I think he said some great comments about Trevor Lawrence.
He said he adopted Doug Peterson.
But believe me, a couple of plays I was watching him, he was at least 50 yards back.
Yeah.
And maybe he needs to play. Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to him playing like a nickel, like on a not on a third down play, but play him close up. He can hit, ain't no doubt about it. He's a spirited kid. He wants to be out there on the field, but I think he's still a liability, and he has certain teams that his being playing safety is not going to work, man. They're scheming. I would not like to see him up against the Cowboys.
No. Let's see, Anthony he say never easy playing a team at home after a bye week. Yeah, that's true. He said it's never easy going to Florida mid-year. Yeah, absolutely. And he say Deshaun clocked 21.4 on that play. Wow, 21.4 miles per hour on that play. Man, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's see, Jakari say, he said, I told my cousin's Ravens fan Gus Edwards gonna give me a fumble. Oh, you called a fumble. Jakari. Yeah. When I seen that Gus Edwards fumble, I was like, man. And then who caused it? I was like, Dewey caused that. And then and they sending a clear message to Devin Lloyd. Clear message to Devin Lloyd.
No question.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? I like that in a way. I like the fact that they they're not basing how much money we paying you, how high you up in the draft board. If you're not helping us win, we're gonna find somebody to put you in there that we feel is better. But to me, and I know loyal Jaguar fans might disagree, but to make that move, that's telling me one thing. You made a mistake drafting both those linebackers.
Yeah, you should have went and got a skill position player. Yep. Yeah, you should have went and got an outside skill position player on either side of the ball, a DB or a receiver, or drafted a tight end.
Yeah, might have been good to draft one. I don't think you needed to draft two guys playing the same position. I felt at either one of those spots. Muma was third round, and Lord was the first round. He's the second pick. Their second first round pick.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't think he should have got both of those players at the spot you drafted them at. I wouldn't have a problem even if they would have, they say you take Lord at the first round and then go in the third and grab a receiver, or vice versa, get one in the first round. But
yeah,
that was too much talent at that position for a team that averaged 15 points a game, less than 15 points a game last year, and not have an added weapon for him that's young, and you want to kind of coordinate your talent with his talent. You're probably looking at a wide receiver to be with Trevor Lawrence for the next, who knows, 10 years.
Yeah.
What you want.
Let's see, Muma balled out, but Alua Khan was everywhere. We had 18 tackles.
18 tackles, man.
18 tackles, yeah. I mean, he was everywhere. He was all over the formation. He said, I actually picked y'all to win the division at first. Really? Shoot, I got to go back and review our division picks. I already know I picked the Raiders, and the Raiders just, golly. Even though Brandon Jacobs, they're not going to pay him. He's going to be in another uniform, so I'd be surprised if they pay him, but and he had a game for the ages. He said that was Russell and Gus. He only played 2 games, then missed 2. Yeah. So defensively, they still got you still missing a lot of pieces. But I think this offense isn't missing much because I've seen them ranked as high as 5th in the entire league in some weeks. So one thing we know is that Doug Peterson is some nitpicky criticism of him, but overall, dude can flat out coach.
Yeah.
No question about it. And he could make adjustments because they had 20 yards and no first downs for a good portion of the second half before they exploded with points. Mm-hmm. And so that's adjustments to me.
Yeah. I like Doug. I like the fact of that decision to go for it. And I most like the fact that just believing in his guys, man. I know that sounds cliche-ish, but I think this football team need a lot of believing in the coaching staff that relates to the players and just changing up things, not just – I say this, if this was Doug Marrone coaching this team, it would have been straight scripted from the playbook. Whatever that playbook design play is, it would have got called down on the field. They wouldn't have made any adjustments, and it would have been straight scripted from what they had already put in the playbook. With Peterson, they adjusted based on their receivers, basically. Hey, can you get open? Can you run a slant and get open? Can he get you the ball on a flare out? And it's right there. Can you catch it? And he took advantage of Marvin Jones. He took advantage of a guy. He may not get open 5 out of, and he might run 8 times downfield and get open twice. But he got open on that big play downfield. And that's what you have to do. You got to take advantage of your talent. And I like Doug Peterson, man. I think you have to be gutsy. I think you have to believe in your guys that you have, even though, they lack talent on offense. I think you have to, you have to make adjustments. I think some people criticize them, and I'm included, that, maybe you need to be more balanced. Maybe you have to get that run game up a little bit more. But in this situation Sunday, your best guy on the sideline, and I think he put the football in his quarterback hand. And I think he tried to do that earlier this year, and it didn't work. It's like growing pains with this kid. But I think it shows that no matter what happened in September and October, the head coach still believes in his quarterback, and he put this game in Trevor Lawrence's hands to win it. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah. Got no issue with that. Now Travis Etienne, I'm pretty sure they want to hold him out for precaution. The fact that he was still dressed on the sideline and had his helmet on for most of the game, that let me know if something did, happen to Hasty and Connor, that he would have probably came in the game. But they held him out because I think he has a foot sprain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It's on that same left foot though. Same foot he had the Liz Frank injury on. So you have to be on the sign of a cautionist with that when it's on the same foot. So, but as Doug said, what he said that Monday, I think it was Monday, that he expects for him to play up in Detroit. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, and Amp say, yeah, y'all can have Greg Roman. Man, y'all, Ravens Twitter was killing Greg Roman after the game. Well, during the game too. Yeah. I mean, killing Greg Roman. And it's obvious that Lamar is the engine. Like you're not going to get anywhere without Lamar. He's the engine. He covers up so many deficiencies within that offense. He does. Yeah. He does. And he make plays, man. Watching him, it was times when he was in the pocket and it's like he moving around and they were like within a hand of him and couldn't touch him. And he's moving around. He looked like Muhammad Ali doing the rope-a-dope in the pocket, like literally. I'm like, dude, come on, can somebody get a hand on him? They spied him a couple of times and he still gained 8, 9 yards, 10 yards here. Still got the first down, and you got a spy right in his face. And dude, the questioning, hey Amp, I don't know what's up with your people, man, but I know you on that side of the Ravens Twitter and the Ravens fans, but dude, the way they talk about Lamar it makes me feel better about how the Jaguar fans are treating Trevor. It do. What up, Chris? He say, didn't Katie have a foot sprain right before he tore his Achilles? You know what? I think so. What was the injury before the Achilles? It may have been a foot sprain.
Man, that seemed like 200 years ago.
Don't it? It seemed like that. That seemed like that was forever ago.
But he was hurt. Yeah, I believe it. I'm not sure the injury, but he was hurt. And they were because he had sat out like most of training camp before he got in that preseason game against New Orleans when he had suffered that injury. But I'm not sure what the injury was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dog. That was crazy too. He said, bro, it was 3rd and 12, and he called the screen to our 300-pound fullback. And I love Pat Ricard. But when I saw that, I say, dude, come on, man. What's going on with that? So yeah, I understand the frustration with Greg Roman. And yeah. Oh, Dale Brown, what's going on? but yeah, so it's I'm gonna just ride this wave. I'm not gonna expect them anything in these last couple of games. I'm gonna just ride the wave. You got Detroit, New York, Dallas, Tennessee, Houston, Tennessee. Now go ahead.
Now I say if Trevor plays the way he played this past week against the Ravens, they got a good shot of winning the game. But I think the danger game is the following week. If they play the Jets, that's not gonna be an easy game. I know they got the situation at quarterback, but
on a short week too.
On a short week, so that ain't gonna be easy. And then we know about the if they beat the Cowboys, I think they have arrived 1 year early.
Because the Cowboys are playing good football. Dak Prescott, for all the people, because they criticize him a lot too. But Dak Prescott is playing very good football right now. And if Dallas could get their hands on OBJ, and if he's anything like he was last year before the injury, it could get ugly. He said it's only certain people that hate Lamar, if you know what I mean. Oh, yeah. I know what you mean, because I did notice that a lot of the criticisms, especially, they love to call him a running back too. I did notice that.
They've been doing that since he was a quarterback in Louisville.
Yeah, and this whole thing talking about, and which I can't stand Molly Quorum on ESPN. They trying to paint Lamar something that he's not. And they talking about he using like anti-gay remarks because he responded to a fan and that dude was trolling him, and he was, they got in his feelings and he responded to a troll. KD's done it. A lot of those guys have done it. It is what it is. You got dudes who are in their 50s and 60s who do that. So it is what it is. But the way they tried to paint Lamar in his moment of anger, dude, I did not like that. Yeah, he said I hate Molly. Dude, she's insufferable. She is, dude. She doesn't add anything to the show at all. But the way they talked about Lamar, and I'm glad Stephen A. kind of downplayed it. But the way but it's that Ravens reporter. Now Ravens Twitter they ganged up on whoever that reporter was who basically started that, because he started with anti-gay remarks about his tweet. So let's see. Dale Brown said, "Can you imagine next year when Ridley gets in here going to look nasty?" Yeah, we were just talking about that, Dale. It's gonna be ugly. You saying Malika too? Yeah, Malika Andrews is. Whew, you gonna talk about a man hater? It's very obvious. She disrespect NBA legends.
But you know what? The thing. Let's go back to her. She too young, man. She got pushed through the ranks too quickly. You know, I think she does okay and all that, but ESPN once again, you know, they get a personality and they don't allow them time to grow. They throw them into the limelight, and they're not trained yet. And I think that's what's killing their brand, to be honest, man. But you know, I know that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but still, I'm an NBA guy, and I don't think anybody from ESPN should be trashing legends. I don't care who they are.
Yeah. It's something. It's something. Just listening, and you're right. She got pushed through the ranks. She hasn't, and that's why it's such an entitlement, because he hasn't earned anything. He hasn't earned anything. He got pushed.
It's pretty. I don't want to say that pretty face, but I think that's the problem with ESPN, man. I mean, we want the sports. You know, we want the news, but we don't want you to create the news. We don't want you to put something that somebody didn't do, or create something that's not being truthful, and you blowing it up like it's. You know, everybody in the whole nation thinks it's an issue only, but you do. And I just I have a problem with it. I have a problem with sometimes I can't even watch some of this stuff on that NBA show, because it's like the questions is coming. It's some implied questioning. It's not direct questioning. It's a question that's coming with the implication and how you want to respond to the implication that we ESPN has implicated you. And I don't agree with that reporting, man. So
no.
And I think they downplay the Jags. I think they got player hate on the Jags. I think they cater to the bigger markets. I think that even if you go back to 2017, I can remember when the Pittsburgh game. It's like, man, they beat the hell out of Pittsburgh that day, and it was more of the storyline. Well, what's wrong with Big Ben? What's wrong with Big Ben? He got handled by a team that's got a great defense.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let me he said Jamison Hensley. That's his name. He said y'all did. They grilled him. Ravens Twitter grilled Jamison Hensley. And so this is the tweet for the people I was talking about, the tweet, and people who don't know on Twitter may not know. He said, how do y'all share the show? I think we're friends on Facebook, so you should be able to share it right off the video. Because if it's in a group, if you're watching this in a group, you won't be able to share it from the group I put it in. But if you go to my page and just click on my page, you should be able to share it from this page. He said, and this is who it was. He said, when someone is asking for over $250 million guaranteed, like Lamar, games like this should not come to Justin Tucker. Let Lamar walk and spend that money on a well-rounded team. And Lamar responded. He said, boy, shut the F up. Y'all cap too much on this app. MF never smelt the football field. Never did SHIT, but eat DICK. So when I saw he put that, I was laughing. I was like, the first thing I came to my mind, I said, he's not lying. He's not lying, but that's frustration, and he was frustrated. It was parts of the day where he was really frustrated, especially early in the game when Greg Roman and them weren't getting plays out to him quickly enough. He was very frustrated with that, and so
he's tired of it, man. He's like, he's tired of. I mean, what more does the guy got to do? I mean, you know, what more do he have to do? And he's still getting these questions. what his name? Castle Will Kill or whatever his name is here. He talking about like, okay, someone is asking for over. I mean, right there, it's like, okay, so they don't say that about the quarterback in Green Bay.
Right.
They don't say that. You look at some of these guys with these big money contracts, they don't say that about those quarterbacks, but it's Lamar, obviously they're judging something that's got nothing to do with his talent, and they feel like he doesn't deserve it. And the man is tired of all that. He's tired of being judged on, okay, what is he being judged on? His color? Because that's what it seemed like it is to me, I mean, what more does he have to do to prove that he's a franchise quarterback and he deserved to get paid?
Yeah. Because, Baltimore, you could have Russell Wilson right now, and you really be looking sick. Because that in itself right now, that is something which I'm gonna talk about that with the defensive tackle got in his face Sunday. I say, man, they do not respect that dude. They don't.
But you know what, man? Before we get into that dive, the guy is too scripted, man. Russell is too scripted. Everything is a script. I mean, there's nothing seems to me natural about him. It's hard as hell being a leader in the locker room when it almost seemed like somebody got to write your script before you even come out of the dressing room. It just seems like to me, the bottom line, it just seemed like he's phony. I mean, I'm going to say it look as clear as it can be said. He just seems like he's phony. His personality is phony. It's hard to lead when you ain't got the straightforward personality that can carry a team on your back. I think everything about him, it just seems like he's just a Hollywood guy, and he maneuvers by somebody telling them, you need to do this, you need to do that. But he's out there on the football field. You can't get help like that, man. No. Either you got it or you don't. And right now, he ain't got it.
No, he doesn't. And one of the issues they said is that, Russell has went Hollywood. A lot of people feel like it's his wife's influence, and
it is.
Yeah. Dude, that story he told about working out on the plane, did you hear that?
Yeah, and I'm going to London.
Oh my goodness. Hey, I heard somebody say if he had been working out on the plane while I'm trying to sleep, I would have tripped him right there in the aisle.
Man, let me say this, man. When those guys, his former teammates, say that he's got this, in order for them to call him, they got to speak about two other people. That means that something ain't right. If you done went to war with people that went to the Super Bowl a couple of times, and in order to get through to Russell, you got to go through 2-3 people. Something ain't right with that story.
Something ain't right. He said, Dale say he got it. Shared the shit out of. Love the show. I appreciate the love, Dale. I appreciate it. He said, Russell is an actor playing a football player.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
The only thing he ain't got, he ain't on a movie.
Yeah, because he got all the because he's so cliche movie lines. Broncos country, let's ride. Now, like, come on, man.
He too scripted, man. Everything about him, he just like, oh man, he like, I don't know, like Billy D. Williams back in the 70s, but he can't cash on a box office smash.
Oh yeah, hey, he like Billy D. He's like cold Colt 45 doesn't even time.
Yeah, man, the brother, man, he like a Teflon bag, man. He ain't real, man. He's like he's a stage tough guy.
Yeah. He say, oh, Chris, he say football Tropic Thunder. Yo, he is like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. Oh my goodness. That's good, Chris. That's a good one. I've never thought of that one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Then he got the nerve to say, yeah, we on the same page. I can be on the same page in like less than an hour before that. The man all in your face.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that was just saving face, man. That was saving face. But we're gonna get into that because I'm gonna show that interaction and you're gonna see if they look like they was on the same page. So but first we're gonna get into this. And this story, this just dropped earlier today. Yeah, like 2:24 is when it was like around 2-3 o'clock when I saw this pop up. And this is weird to me. So some women who settled lawsuits versus Deshaun Watson will attend his game in Houston. Because he's coming off his 11-game suspension, and Tony Busby, the attorney who headed the lawsuit against him, he's supposedly bringing 10 of his accusers. They supposed to be in the suite at the game, and I'm like, this is for attention. Like, why? If Deshaun Watson is the boogeyman that they painted him out to be, why are you coming to watch him play a football game?
Yeah.
And this is the stuff. This is why when all of this came out and everybody comparing to Bill Cosby, talking trash about him, and it was like 26 women can't lie and all of that. It's stuff like this. It makes it harder for the women that actually had things happen to them, because this is for show. But let's get into this article, and we're gonna talk about it. So it said, with nearly all of the more than 2 dozen lawsuits filed against Deshaun Watson having been settled, most of the women who accused the Cleveland quarterback of sexual misconduct have no interest in his return to Houston on Sunday and just want to move on with their lives, according to their attorney. Attorney Tony Busby said about 10 of the women who accused Watson of sexual harassment and assault during massages are planning to attend Sunday's game at Houston's NRG Stadium, where the Browns will take on the Texans and watch him play in his return from 11-game suspension. Some of my clients asked to go, Busby, who will also attend the game, told ESPN on Tuesday they thought it important to make clear that they are still here and that they matter. Oh, my God. Some of the women really want to attend the game to kind of make that statement, hey, we're still here, we matter, our voice was heard, and this is not something that's over. Sexual harassment and assault happen every day in the United States, Busby also said Tuesday. The women declined to comment ahead of Sunday's game, he said. He said an NFL spokesperson did not immediately reply to an email from the Associated Press seeking comment. Watson was still with the Texans when more than 20 women alleged he exposed himself, touched them, or kissed them against their will during massage therapy sessions. One woman alleged that Watson forced her to have oral sex. 25 women represented by Busby filed lawsuits. One woman dropped her lawsuit when required to amend her claim to include her name to proceed. 23 others settled their case in August. In July, 30 women who had accused the Texans of turning a blind eye to allegations against their former star quarterback settled their legal claims against the team. Watson, who was traded to the Browns in March, has long denied any wrongdoing, and 2 Texas grand juries declined to indict him. I think it's important to note that each of these women is different, Busby told ESPN on Tuesday. I will never encourage any of them to attend. Some never want to hear Watson's name again. Others have put it in the past. Some are still angry. Others are defiant. Makes me proud they want to stand up and be counted rather than quietly go away. Rusty Hardin, Watson's lead attorney, declined to comment on Watson's return to Houston, citing confidentiality agreements settled from the lawsuits. One woman represented by Busby, Lauren Baxley, declined to settle. He expects the case will go to trial. Baxley will not be attending the game Sunday. The latest pending lawsuit filed last month by a woman who alleges Watson pressured her into oral sex. This is a clown show right here. And Tony Busby, when I tell you Tony Busby is milking this thing, Tony Busby's milking this. He's soaking it up. All the attention that he wanted, because now he's getting pub off of this. He's gotten other cases off of this. It's amazing. But you want to come here, you want to go to the game to show that you still matter and you're still here and you're supposedly angry and all that. I'm not getting it. See, and what this is, Mr. Reed, we're in the social media age as well. They're doing this for clout too, because they know they're going to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, and this is I don't like it. This is disgusting.
To be seen. You know, and I said this earlier before we came on. At this point, the man that went through the punishment. I'm not condoning. I'm not chastising. I'm just making a statement that he done went through the punishment. He done set out. He done been fined. He done had money taken away. Obviously, they had settlements. I mean, I think he's done whatever the punishment was, he served that punishment. But I just think, at this point, it's done and over. It's time to move on. If there's somebody who had some more information, or somebody had that more evidence, you want to call it that, then they should have came forward. I mean, I think to me, he's back. He served his suspension, And I just think this is how things have changed in this period right now, that everything is so dramatic, everything is publicity oriented. Because I agree with you, there's nothing more to this other than, hey, we're gonna stand in front of some cameras and we're gonna vent, but we're not gonna say in front of the camera that, yeah, we settled the lawsuit and we got paid by Deshaun. They're not gonna say that, but that's actually what happened. And I go back to the media, man. Sometimes we might have to turn off the cameras.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because this is ridiculous. Like, I'm like, this, what is this proving? What is this doing? I don't get it. Number one, he's not going to see you. You're not going to say anything to him. You're not going to confront him. You're not going to approach him. What are you going to do? Like, what is?
You see that headline? It says some women who settled the lawsuit. So these are the women who done got paid.
Yeah, they done got paid.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of world we live in now. I don't know, but it's a scary time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and hey, I'm not here to sit up and say that Deshaun Watson is a saint. No, because I wasn't there. Don't know. You know, it is what it is. But it's stuff like this that gives me cause to pause, man. It does, and especially when you have I'm just calling him. This dude's a snake, Tony Busby. Well, you have guys like that who can go around. He gathering up information. He probably walked these women down, and after he got a few, he didn't need to do it no more because the ones who had been affiliated with him and then gave him massages, they saw after it went viral, and the cases were built up. You know, the work was done for him, but he promising them paydays. Of course, even if nothing happened, because you had a young guy who was the son of one of the accusers who said that she had a great experience with Deshaun Watson. And then when this came out, she changed her story and jumped on the lawsuit and got paid. That's fact. It's fact. You feel how you want to feel. That's a fact. So it's just, I don't like it, but
that's the issue. Everybody want to get paid, man. Everybody want to get paid. Don't matter how you get paid, even if it's the easy way to get paid. Everybody got a handout. And that's what simply is. A lot of it is this situation with the Watson. It's like everybody want a handout. Oh, can I get an opportunity to get some millions? And we all love money, but sometimes you know what's the right way of getting it.
There you go, Dale. Dale say it's all about the money, and that's all it's ever been.
Yeah,
that's all it's ever been.
Yeah. And publicity, so they can write the book.
Yeah. They say, Dale said, I'm getting this other comment. He said, I got on the show late. What do you guys think of Muma over Lloyd? I'm sorry, but I think it's crazy. How he played earlier is just a little if what he can do and will be, in my opinion. I think they did it to send a message, and I think he'll be better for it. But Muma did play well. He did. You gotta tip your cap to Muma. But Mr. Reed said earlier, before you came in, Dale, is that it's very obvious that the Jaguars made a mistake in drafting both of them. You should have drafted one or the other. Yeah. You know, you shouldn't have drafted both of them. Instead of drafting Lloyd, maybe draft a receiver, or instead of drafting Muma, draft a receiver or a corner or a tight end or something in the third, something. But they shouldn't have drafted two linebackers, inside linebackers. Why?
Yeah. It's just too much draft. You know, you put too much draft money in the two guys that play at the same position, man. I mean, it's a draft. You gotta mix that talent around, and then you're talking about an offense that averaged 14.9 points a game last year. And what we talk about getting his quarterback weapons. I think if he had more weapons, I think he wouldn't have struggled as much as he did after they won those two games early in September. So that's when you get the Trent Baalke situation who come in. That you got to be a smart talent evaluator, man. You can't be a talent evaluator trying to prove that I'm good. I can swing this. I can swing open this door. I can shut up the naysayers. I can do something different. It's about what is your greatest need, who's the best players on the board. When you the Jags, that's what you have to do, man. If you San Francisco, you the Cowboys, or you Kansas City, yeah, you can gamble. You can take chances in the draft. You may not even have to draft at all. But when you Jacksonville, you gotta get the most talent on the field, and you gotta start offensively because you invested in a number 1 overall pick in a quarterback. So that's where you gotta invest at. And I didn't think they need 2 guys. Hell, we're happy if Muma can make a tackle, or we're happy if Devin Lloyd can make a tackle. We just want him to make a tackle. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hold on. What do you say? You say I was stumped on the
Me
2
too.
linebacker picks. Yeah, I was too. You say someone has got the Light Lords fired, and that's what they're doing.
Well, he's got to light his own fire because he sat on the pitch. He's got to man up and play like a first-round pick and stop missing tackles.
Yeah, no, he does. So, but we're gonna move on from there, and I must say, rest in peace to 2 guys. One, of course, is what you see on the screen here is a Sean Taylor. They did a memorial of him, and as you can see here, I think this is absolutely terrible. This was awful. This was a stain. This is another stain on the Washington franchise. This is absolutely ridiculous. If you want to do this, you should have did a statue, dude. I feel like I'm walking in a Dick's Sporting Goods looking at that right here. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is absolutely awful. I don't know what they were thinking about here. Is Jason Frank, the original Green Ranger, White Ranger. Played Tommy in the Power Rangers. He committed. He deleted himself. I think it was last week or so. Man, he was a staple in many of our childhoods. So I want to say rest in peace to Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger.
But you know what, man, I see that right there, and I just, man,
that's horrible.
I get upset for their family, man, because to me, and I ain't going on the soapbox, but I feel like it. To me, this looks like no planning, just throwing something up to say we did something. This guy lost his life, man, when he didn't, I just hate this, if you're going to dedicate something to a player that meant that much to your organization, and you trying to put that picture across and, try to get where young fans know who he is and his name will carry on for infinity, this ain't the way you do it, man. I would rather for them to just put a jersey enclosed with a helmet and a picture of Sean Taylor than, it's this cheap, this look unprofessional. It's unbecoming of a league that's $7 billion a year. I'm upset that the NFL won't get involved, or the Hall of Fame, or somebody. If you don't build a statue, put a bus up or something. But don't disrespect this man with something look like that, man. That looked crappy for NFL standards. That is not up to par to the NFL standard, what they put out there with that. No question at all. That what you see at, just like you said, you see that at Sports Academy, and it's a mannequin.
It's a mannequin, yeah.
It's embarrassing. But this franchise is a joke. The owner is a joke, and I think it should be an outcry of that right there. That is no way in the world, if you're gonna put the time and the effort and the time needed to unveil something like that. It looked like a cartoon character. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like somebody dangling something up in the air, and you got a football jersey with number 21 on it. That don't show any respect to me to Sean Taylor at all. That's embarrassment. That's the only way I can say it. One word. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. It is true. And it was so many Dale Brown. He said Reebok pants, Nike jersey, no tape on the face mask.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, you didn't depict Sean at all. He said potentially the best
Yeah.
safety ever. Hey, if he had played just 10 years, if he had just had a 10-year career, he'd be a Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. No question about it. Sean Taylor was that good. It's so many different ways you could have depicted Sean Taylor's prowess and how intimidating he truly was. Like one of my favorite pictures, he's on the knee and his back when he got his fro and he got the helmet in his hand and it's on the ground. You could have made that a statue to show people just how big and imposing he was. But this is ridiculous, man.
And man, I tell you what, man, I done read a lot about Sean Taylor's things I didn't even know. Man, this guy, even from people I done spoke to, this guy was the hardest worker that a lot of football players have ever seen. Redskins, Raiders, whoever. This guy would work out and give a full 2-hour workout even before the practice started. And he would work out afterwards.
Yeah. He said, Chris been killing it today. Chris say, that's how my school projects look when I did it the night before.
Yeah.
They look like, hey, that's how I look, Chris. They look like they threw this together.
They did.
They did.
It's just embarrassing.
Hey, go find a mannequin, go dust off a mannequin from the back somewhere, and we're gonna throw the Sean Taylor jersey on it. That's exactly what this looks like.
Man, they could have did a better job of just get me something enclosed, put his jersey in enclosed, like an open, like a encasing or something that's glass, and put a plaque around it, and it would have been a hell of a lot better than that. I don't even know what that is, man.
Yeah,
I don't see Sean Taylor in that. Let me shut up before I start cussing, man.
He said Taylor never wore a Nike jersey. That is right. Dale, he's never wore. They weren't a Nike team when he was there.
Yeah.
He almost killed the punter in the Pro Bowl. Oh, I'll never forget that. That'll live in infamy. If you've never heard, it's a cut up of his hit on Brian Moorman, the Bills punter in the Pro Bowl. If you've never heard the cut up of different stations calling it in different languages, it all sounds the same. It's in different languages, but the hit sounds the same and how everybody reacted to that hit. You got to check that out. I mean, amazing, man. But, dude, this is, once again, Washington being inept, being the franchise that they are, terrible. When I saw that, I said, yeah, I got to talk about this because that's ridiculous.
No question. It's ridiculous. It doesn't tribute to this man's life. And, Sean Taylor has been so misunderstood. I mean, I can go back to the day that he died, and I can go back and listen to that Tony Kornheiser and his sidekick,
Mike Wilbon, and Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, and how they insinuated like he was destined for this because of what they perceived and what they thought of him. They judged the cover but didn't know what the pages were. And I just hate to see stuff like that and then see this old trashy organization throw something together and have this man family there. I despise that, man. I got a lot of respect for this kid, man. I mean, he ain't a kid, but I have a lot of respect for Sean, man. He was misunderstood. He loved his family. He used to go home because he loved Miami. He loved that girlfriend. He wanted to be with his daughter. Nobody understood that, and everybody criticized him. And
yeah,
I got a lot of respect for that guy, man. That guy was one hell of a football player, and I've read a lot of things. The man in the hospital said, ain't nobody fought for his life harder than Sean Taylor did.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. I love Chris Cooley. And I'll never forget Chris Cooley talking about him. He said, Sean would just beat the crap out of guys in practice. He's like, and I was just so thankful he never did it to me. Yeah, absolutely. So, Man, we're gonna wrap it up there, man. Rest in peace to Deshaun Taylor, man. Yeah, one of the greatest. One of the great. Hey, when possibly the greatest safety to ever play, Ed Reed, marvels at your game, that's when you know he's great. Because even Ed Reed, he was like, man, Sean was like made in the lab. Like he had it all. Yeah, but we're gonna move on and we're gonna get back to Mr. Russell Wilson, as Chris say. He's a football. He's a actor playing a football player at this point. And when that whole let Russ cook, man, that has not aged well. But it's been some stories on this and people talking about it, how it's perceived and what was said, and whether he was angry with him or trying to hype him up or whatever. But I don't know. I'll let y'all be the judge of that for those who haven't seen it. But this is defensive tackle Mike Purcell, and he gets in Russell's face.
Know if something was said, if Russell Wilson says something as he's coming off the field here, or Purcell is just going over to him and saying, hey, man, I care about this. Know if something was said, if Russell Wilson says something as he's coming off the field here, or Purcell is just going over to him and saying, hey, man, I care about this. Know if something was.
So that could be him hyping him up, saying, let's go, get it together, or whatever. It could be. But, just from what I've seen over the last couple of weeks about Russell, he's not well liked. he's not well liked, and he's not respected at all.
No, and you can't respect that, man. Only way you get respect, you got to be genuine. You got to be that person all the time. You can't be like a image of yourself. If you play that position, you got to go out there and fight, claw, yell, whatever it takes to win. And this guy, I don't think he's serious about the game. I think he's being controlled by his wife. I don't think he eats, sleep football anymore. I mean, he's got a phoniness about him. Obviously he loves the money. I don't think he's past his prime. I just don't think that his heart is in this game no more. And I think he's going through the motion, and I think those players see it. It's just like we go back to Urban Meyer. It's just when you know that a person not totally in, and you on a team with him, man, it's hard to bite your pride and not say nothing back about it, because he's not. I mean, you got to have every member on that football team all in. Russell throws passes up in the air. That last pass he threw this past week, I think it was tipped, but it was short. The guy wide open. Guys see what kind of emotion that he have after that play. He didn't have no emotion. I mean, he might have looked disappointed, but he didn't have emotion. He's not emotionally invested in his football team, and those guys see it. They see a guy that's a quarterback, and he's living off this reputation of what he did in Seattle, and he's not giving anything to that franchise right now. And that's hard as hell for these players, man. These players put, hey, some of these guys on that Denver Bronco team, it might be their last year playing. They ain't got that mega contract coming in, and they ain't got Super Bowl glory from Seattle. And it's all or nothing for them now. And this guy's not playing like it's all or nothing. He playing like, well, I got 4-5 years on this contract, and I'm going to milk it as long as I can milk it. And that don't sit well with those guys, man. Those guys, man, Denver got one of the best defenses in the league, regardless of how trashy that record is. They got one of the best defenses in the league. They got a quarterback that's supposed to have been franchise, or whatever you call, whatever the upper echelon of quarterbacks. They supposed to went out and got him, and he's worse than the quarterbacks they had the last 3-4 years. They could have kept him. I mean, shit, you name it. They could have kept him, and they would have done the same job as what this guy is doing. His heart is not invested in this team, man. Bottom line.
Yeah. Will Pinckney, what's going on, man? Appreciate you for tuning in. He's a Coach Prime. Yeah, it's Dion. Prime said that's why he won't coach pro players, not hungry like that. They well fed. Not hungry like that. They well fed. Yeah. He's right. Well, I see. I found Nathaniel Hackett and Mike Purcell himself. So let's see what he had to say.
Frustration. We want to spark on something. We all in this together. Period. So that's the quarterback of our offense. They're about to take the field. Obviously, we let up a touchdown, so we weren't doing our job, but got to get a spark somewhere. So they're about to take the field. So that's all it was.
Was something said to you, or you just it's your flashpoint?
No, I just got the penalty on field goal block. Frustrated for everything. We didn't do our job on defense. Hats off to them. They ran the ball, and it was just not good enough.
What happened on the field?
Frustration. Frustration.
He said it. That's it. He said
we
it right
wanna,
there.
We want to spark on
frustration. Let me see Nathaniel Hackett and what he said.
And did not know that it was direct any. Yeah, when we were up there, obviously was addressing Mike on the personal foul that he had. Talking to him as he passed by me, heard him say, let's go, and did not know that it was directed to any specific person. Looked like it was just he wanted everybody to start going and wanted to get a spark. So that was really all that I heard. I talked with Mike after, talked with Russell, everybody's good. Part of it, it's an emotional game. Yeah.
And their explanations, Mike's and Nathaniel's, listening to this, because I hadn't heard this just now, it leads me to believe that him supposedly hyping him up, it was a little more than that.
Oh, man.
Just listening to this.
Well, after listening to this, for my perception, this is damage control. They done went
damage control. There you go.
To them beforehand. We don't want this to extend any more than what it is or how it looks. So let's keep our message on the same page. We'll get it hashed out in-house, and let's don't elaborate any more than this frustration. That's from their media relations department, so they can cut this fire down and hose it with water. That's what that was.
Hey, somebody posted this. They talking about when Russell say Bronco country, let's ride. This Mike Purcell. That's hilarious.
That's what's called the cooling off period.
Yeah. Hey, and what was Russell supposed to do? You supposed to shake your head just like he did. Okay, I got you, and keep it moving. That dude is 300 plus pounds, and he eat quarterbacks for breakfast. So there's nothing that Russell could have done in that situation, but exactly what he did. Okay, I got you, and keep it moving.
Yeah, he told Russell to get off the rocking chair and get us in some touchdowns, or we gonna come after. But we will never know whether we're in Denver or Jacksonville or what. You got a cooling off period. I think it's like the first 15 minutes in the locker room after the game is closed doors and media can't come in. Who knows what'll happen in those first 15 minutes when they came off the field?
Who knows? Who knows? So, man, but that's that. I mean, when I saw that, I said, "Oh yeah," I said, the frustration bubbling over
in his place. That's what he just did. Russell might have said something to him when he walked off the field. And I think that you say, look, who the hell are you talking about? Football is a hard, tough game, man. It's a game of emotions. And it's a game where you can't control your emotions when at certain points they get crossed and you can't hold back. I think that was one of those moments with Mr. Parcells.
Yeah, that's like Jalen Ramsey earlier this year when they lost. Just a few weeks ago when they lost to the Bucks and Tom Brady being Tom Brady, doing Tom Brady things, marched down the field and they won the game. And Jalen clearly frustrated, clearly in his feelings, and he said that we feel like we shouldn't have to go back on the field as a defense. Mm-hmm. And of course, I was talking to Nesco. He not here tonight, but I was talking to Nesco Sunday about it. He's like, man, I'm still trying to like that dude. I said, but you got to think about it like this, Ness. He shouldn't have said it. I'm not going to defend what Jalen Ramsey said, but he's right. He's right. He shouldn't have said it, but he's right. And the fact that he was so emboldened to say it at that moment lets you know he was the only defender that felt that way. I guarantee you 99, Mr. Donald probably felt that way as well.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
no question.
no
man.
question about it. No question about it. So, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, so, you know, it is what it is. But we're gonna move on from there. And real quick before we get into some basketball, and we're gonna get on up out of here. Mr. Zach Wilson got benched. You know, I was told, the haters who the Trevor Lawrence haters who told me Zach Wilson and Justin Fields was the guy. They ain't here because hey, remember I think it was Cordell. He was over here a couple weeks ago and he was talking about Trevor Lawrence and all of that and I'm like, yo, what's the thing? Because Justin had a great game and he coming talking that trash about Justin being better and George Webb. He a Patriots fan and he caping for Zach Wilson. I'm like, come on, George, get on up out of here with that. But now his own defense is tossing him smooth up under the bus. I mean, it got to the point where they didn't even dress Zach Wilson. Like he was sitting on the sideline. They didn't even dress him. And see, let me see if I can find exactly what. Okay, you know what? Matter of fact, all I gotta do is because I'll just read it, so I ain't got to try to look for it. But so Sauce Gardner said the defense was talking on the sideline during the first drive about how it was the first time they were able to chill a little bit longer at the beginning of a game since the offense was moving the ball. Direct shot with Zach right there on the sideline. Direct shot because they, and it's not just about Zach's play on the field. They say it's his attitude, and I'm gonna see if I can pull up him after the game. And this was probably the nail in the coffin because he after one of the games they asked did he feel like it was after the Patriots game when they lost 10-3. He said they asked if they let the defense down and he said no. Yeah, he said no. And I was like, man, somebody got to get with that kid, tell him like, you cannot say that. That's just something you can't do as a quarterback. I don't care if it ain't your fault, but you can't. Okay, here we go. I found it. Here we go. I mean, you can't do that. Leaders don't do that. One thing, the first rule of management, and as a quarterback, that's what you are. You the manager. He said the first rule of management, everything is your fault. If y'all had a loss 35-40, your defense played like crap, and you played a great game and y'all fell short, you still get the blame because you're the quarterback. Just like if y'all win, you get the praise. But this is him right here. This was the nail in the coffin.
As an offense, though, I mean, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No. And he said it quick, too.
As an offense, though, you guys are only able to score 3 points. The defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No. Dude wasn't even done with his question. He said no.
To score 3
no.
points, the defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No. But you know what, Brandon? I like to say this, man. Where is Chris Sims at now?
Oh, man.
Where's
everybody calling Chris Sims out right now?
Who used to say, oh, yeah, Zach Wilson should be the number 1 overall pick. He's better than Trevor Lawrence. He's better than this, and he's better than... Where's he at now? Where's that analysis? Where the analysts at now? Where is he? He's quiet. What happened? Chris Sims, always trashing Trevor, always praising Zach Wilson. Where is he at today?
Yeah. Now I will say Chris did backpedal some because he had never saw Trevor in person and he had never talked to him. And I remember after the Hall of Fame game against the Raiders, Chris Sims went on the show and he talked about it after that. He said, I got a chance to see him. And he's like, man, just how he looks. He's tall, he's thick. He's got a thick neck as a quarterback. You don't really see necks like that on a quarterback. I mean, he's statuesque. And I mean, he was ripping the ball. He said because last year, Trevor in warm-ups, they say the ball will kind of be all over the place sometimes. And it was a little worrisome. And it was. And I'm like, you got to remember what he was dealing with that coaching staff, coming off of shoulder surgery on his throwing shoulder, and they say, and Chris N was talking about how now he's like, man, he said, from what I saw Trevor on that field, just in that 45-minute warm-up, he said, Jacksonville, it's good things to come in Jacksonville from what I saw. So he did a little bit of backpedaling before the season started. He did.
Well, he should have did his research before the draft.
That too.
And he should have did a little bit more research in last season. And I like to know what is his research now with this kid benched, and who knows what his future is with this franchise. And that was his number one overall pick, and he was fussing about Zach Wilson and was ahead of Trevor. So karma is something.
Yeah. Karma is something. Yeah, yes, it is. Absolutely. So, man, but we're gonna leave that Zach Wilson right there. Oh, before we get to a little bit of NBA, and then we'll be doing good. We ain't even at an hour and a half yet. So I could squeeze this, and then I almost forgot about this. So everybody's been talking about Mr. Jerry Jones has been back in the news. It seems like when Jerry go viral now.
Jerry. Jerry over there.
Look at Jerry back there in the back. Yeah, look at Jerry in the back. So it's Joshua Clark Davis. He said, wow. So Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was one of the bullies trying to stop his black classmates from desegregating Central High in Little Rock in 1957. And I'm like, man, who found this photo and figured out that was Jerry Jones? Man, when I saw it, I'm like, man.
That's who got that photograph. And when they interviewed him, they had a copy of that photograph, and they had him to confirm if that was him or not, which he did confirm.
Yeah, he did. He did confirm. Yeah.
That's a hell of a reporting by the Washington Post to be the first one, because this has never been out. This guy been owning that team since what, 87, 86, and whenever he bought it from bought the Cowboys. This has never been out until this past week.
Yeah. Yeah. This amazes me, man. And so, people been talking about it, and he confirmed it was him. And the thing that gets me is those who were so on Kyrie for posting the link and what was going on with Kyrie, how they were so soft on this. Namely, and I'm gonna play a little bit. I ain't gonna play too much. I'm gonna play a little bit of what he said about it. Stephen A. Smith, which I've been done with Stephen A. He's, man, I don't know what to say about him sometimes, but we'll play a little bit of this. Fair use.
I'm pretty pissed off. And let me say this. I'm pissed off, but not for reasons that people would think. I'm very, very fond of Jerry Jones, and I'm not hiding that from anybody. Is his record perfect? No. But I'm pissed off because he doesn't deserve what just happened. He doesn't deserve it. Our report said he was 14 years old. Yeah. Another report said he was 15 years old. At minimum, that's 65 years ago. You're going to bring up a picture of Jerry Jones standing at this protest. No question what was happening is not something that anybody as a black person should be appreciative about. We had 6 students at that particular North Little Rock High School that was trying to desegregate the school.
No one should be okay with it.
Nobody should be okay with that.
Regardless of
We
race.
understand that. We get all of that. We also understand what we as black people and as black folks, black men have to deal with. And by the way, to some degree, we still deal with a lot of things, and we all know it. Racism is alive and well. Bigotry and prejudice is alive and well. We get all of that. But you're going to bring up a photo of him when he was 14, 15 years old. 65 or 66 years ago. This is where cancer culture gets into the mix, and you're making an attempt to eradicate him, what he stands for, and all he has done. And by the way, I don't have a problem with the photo. I don't have a problem. If he was 30, 35, 40 years old, that's different.
Right.
14, 15 years old. 14, 15 years old.
Right.
But we're going to lean on somebody when he was 14, born and raised in the South, and we're going to pick it up 66 years later to say, you know something?
Yeah.
You ain't hire a black coach. I think that's pretty low. I really, really do. I think that part is pretty low. If he were an adult, that would be different. But a 14, 15-year-old kid raised in the South.
Hey, isn't it? That's hard to listen to.
Read the whole series. See, the problem with Stephen A. is he's a pipe for the ESPN without doing his research. Washington Post got a series going out about not hiring black coaches. Jerry, they sent out a request for every owner in the league to be interviewed for this series. It's not a story, it's a series. Jerry was the only one who agreed to do the interview. Out of all of the owners, including the one in Jacksonville, he was the only one who agreed to interview for that series. And they went into his background, which they should. Basically, he's saying, well, okay, slavery happened 200, 300 years ago, but it don't matter now. That's the same statement that he's saying, that it don't matter anymore now. It does matter. It matters because they asked him what was his response to that happened when he was 15 years old, and they wanted to know what his response was. You know, I mean, you can't look at history and say it didn't happen. I don't care if he was 12.
Yeah.
That will always be a part of history in this country. And they did not allow those students to go into that North Little Rock school, no matter what. His football coach told him not to go. That's what his words was. He said his football coach told him that you shouldn't be nowhere near this. And he went in anyway. His reasoning was, they not, in that story, they don't question his reason. They don't question, did he, you know, okay, did he stand in the middle of them and had him and told him not to come in? No. They asked him what was his role, what did he thought about it at that time? Do he have any regrets? And he said he went there out of curiosity. So you're going to tell me that the Washington Post, one of the most respected newspapers in the country, got Jerry Jones and the information, and they did the reporting that nobody in this country has reported, as he said, for 65 years. Nobody had that photograph. So if ESPN would have had that photograph, you're going to tell me, Stephen A., that the ESPN wouldn't have wrote a story about it? That's BS, man. That's the problem with that ESPN right there, because they didn't break the story. They wasn't first, but they're going to trash the Washington Post because the whole gist of the story is not, okay, Jerry stood in front of segregated North Little Rock High School. The whole story is his roots, where he come from. They went to his grandparents. His grandparents was I think they were part of I think they were members of the Klan in Arkansas. You know, they did a deep dive in who Jerry Jones is, and it ain't just about that one incident. They talked about what his views on hiring black coaches. That, you know, you can't take away from somebody's life because it happened at 14 and they got a broad scope of who this man is, where his background from, what he grew up in, what he experienced. And that's what the story was. They did journalism. That's what they did. You know, they're not coating a brush and say, okay, Jerry's an NFL owner. He don't deserve this. I mean, come on, man. What do you mean you don't deserve that? They're not trashing them. but they are disclosing the truth of what his past is and what he experienced. And he was, what we gonna not go with history and say he didn't stand there? You know, ask the 6 black students there, did they know Jerry and do they know him now? You know, you can't erase history because, Jerry Jones respected this, tarnished everything he does about all the achievement that he's done since he's been an NFL owner. I mean, come on, man. That's the one thing where I'm happy that I'm not in sports anymore, because it's too much of protections. It's too much that we fans where we don't see beyond the field. And it's too much of Stephen A's, who's supposed to be speaking for all of us as black people, because he's a media megastar and he's speaking only on his own terms and not for every term in this country. And it's despicable, man. It's like that has nothing to do with the conversation, because America don't owe Jerry Jones anything. He owes America, but Americans don't owe Jerry Jones, and he's making billions.
Yeah,
whether we like him or not.
Yeah, and the fact that he brought in the fact that he has a personal relationship with Jerry. That has nothing to do with the situation.
It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It doesn't have anything to do with him being an NFL owner. I mean, we got to stop thinking that these guys are heroes. If we was writing a story on anybody, if you running for mayor of Jacksonville, do you think they're not going to dig up everything in your past? I mean, what's the difference? Because he's an owner, he don't deserve that? I mean, come on, man. We got to get out of this world where we just got to, okay, he's Jerry Jones. He don't deserve that because he owns the Cowboys. I mean, come on, man. Life is so much bigger than the Cowboys, even though they're one of the richest franchise in the world. That doesn't condone him for. So in his words, they're supposed to just tear up the photograph. Don't write a story on it, and just pat him on the back. And just praise him as being the owner of the Cowboys. That's what he wants.
Yeah,
they did him a disservice.
Yeah, because like you said, nobody, from what I've seen, it's not many people have been trashing Jerry Jones for this. From what I've seen, the coverage of this hasn't been get your torch and pitchforks. Let's go to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and overthrow Jerry Jones. That isn't what I've seen around this story at all.
Mm-hmm. And I commend Jerry. Jerry was the only owner who agreed to an interview. He didn't dance around the question that they asked him.
He was honest. He could have lied.
And he was honest about it. He was curious as to what he said. There was a lot going on that day, and he wanted to check it out with his buddies. And his coach told him, I think he was a freshman football player, and his coach told him, nowhere in the world any of you players should be involved or anywhere near this situation going on at this school. And he said that, but I just don't agree with Stephen A. All right, like, okay, well, they're not supposed to report that because he's Jerry. I'm personal friends with Jerry, and what that means to America, because you the personal friends with an owner. What that got to do with anything?
Yeah.
Who cares? I mean, basically, who cares who you know? We become bigger than the stories, man, and that's what's wrong with this journalism right now. We report the news, man. We give him an explanation. Well, can you tell us what happened that day, why you were there, which he did? But we're not going to go in this world and say that segregation didn't happen, civil rights movement didn't happen, and we in 2023, so the people who was bigots and racists, they shouldn't be held accountable. That's basically what he's saying, because it happened 65 years ago. That's almost like saying Emmett Till got killed for nothing.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm a history nut.
Yeah. Yeah. See, George Bubble Webb in the building. He said this is the smartest thing he's ever said. I'm not sure who you're talking about, what you're referring to, but Mr. Webb, this the Zach Wilson praiser. Dude, Zach Wilson watched from the bench, and Mike White has the Jets offense humming. humming. I think I seen that the Jets have had 3 or 4 games where they've had over 450 yards of offense, 3+ passing touchdowns, and it was one other stat, and they've only done it 3 times over the last couple of years. And every start, the quarterback who started all those games was Mike White. So he talking about what's the record? Zach Wilson, he was 7-3 or 7-4 or whatever. And I'm like, dude, come on, man. Give Trevor his props. He talking that trash, man. Sauce Gardner, I said it. Hey, I see you ain't respond to it, George. I read the tweet on here. Sauce Gardner say, hey, the defense was like, yo, we get to chill because the offense can move the ball in the beginning of the game. Come on, man. Come on. So go ahead and let's go and bury that. Put Zach Wilson out the pasture. It is what it is. He said, well, that doesn't mean Zach trash. No, it doesn't mean Zach trash. It just means that he's not the starting quarterback no more. That's what that means. That's
it doesn't mean he trash for the moment.
It does.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
Replaced by a third string quarterback.
And didn't dress. Didn't dress for the game.
A healthy scratch.
Yeah.
And he may be a healthy scratch for the rest of the season, too.
Yeah, because Mike White starting again Sunday.
Yeah.
And George, you can't go past the fact of after they lost to your Patriots, and they asked him, did you feel like you let the defense down because you only scored 3 points? He said no. Yeah. And under no circumstance should that have been his answer. Trevor Lawrence would not have said no if he scored 3 points.
Well, sounds like Sam Darnold to me.
Right.
He'll be in Charlotte next year. He'll be playing for the Carolina Panthers after next year. He won't be there.
Right.
It's going to take him to the playoffs. We've seen the last of Zach, and you don't have to worry about him being in the big city lights of New York anymore.
Yeah. How long before he be wearing white and blue in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Right. So
Zach.
He say that man played against a good team. Yeah, he played against a good team, but still, man, come on, what that dude? Zach Wilson, he paying you?
He passed for 77 yards against that great team too.
Yeah,
77 yards. Hell, me, you, and then a couple of others can go out there and throw 77 yards.
Right, and that's all dump downs. Hey, that's all giving it to the running back.
Yeah, just throw it out.
Yeah,
a couple throwing dumps, and you get 77 yards, man.
Yeah.
Screen passes.
Yeah, that's it, man. But we're gonna leave it right there, and we're gonna get on this topic right here, and we're gonna get up out of here. So once again, Mr. Reed, we talk about this often, and this is not just a sports thing, but this is like a life thing, and I've noticed where it's a lot of and it's not all, of course, because I was talking with a homegirl of mine, and I told her, I said, like, I don't have a whole lot of guys that I talk to on a regular basis that are around my age. I talk to some, but not on a regular basis. I say guys like you, Sean Taylor, who I do my other show with, Mr. Leander, my buddy Claude, who I used to work with, who's been a great mentor. I say all of you guys are in your 50s and 60s. And I say y'all have imparted so much into me and give me so many gems, and pretty much have helped me piece together a path for myself just from you 4 guys, and I'm forever thankful. So thank you for that. But you do have those that hate on the younger generation, and Shaq is one of them. This was despicable by Shaq, man. Shaq hasn't came out and apologized for this, and he should do a public apology, man, because he's been hating on Dwight, and Dwight has left him alone. Dwight has went on and lived his life, man. They had a little beef or whatever over the Superman, and that was stupid anyway, because how you gatekeeping Superman? Like, you ain't Superman. How you gatekeeping Superman? But let's get into this article, man. It say Dwight Howard calls out Shaquille O'Neal for highly disrespectful comments against Taiwan's T1 League. And say former NBA star Dwight Howard has responded to comments made by basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal regarding his current stint in Taiwan's T1 League. During Thursday's episode of the Big Podcast, O'Neal laughed after he was asked by co-host Spice Adams about Howard's 38-point debut playing for the Taiwan Leopards. Hope I said that right. He said, "You should never be complimented for being a good father because that's what you're supposed to do, right?" O'Neal said in the video of the episode, he's supposed to have 30 points against dudes 5'8". When Adams pointed out that Howard, 36, attempted 10 3-pointers in one night, O'Neal, 50, said that the T1 League reminds him of the Lifetime Fitness League every Saturday when I go work out on Saturdays. And that's highly disrespectful. He said Howard, who announced his move to the Taiwan Leopards earlier this month, went on Instagram Live to talk about jealousy just hours after the podcast aired. This message is for Shaquille O'Neal, he opens. "First thing I want to say is you got to stop hating, brother. You got to stop hating. I've never in my life came at you about your basketball career, your family, your kids, anything of the sort, because there's no need to. The world is too big to hate on another man," he says. "Have I joked about? Have I mimicked your voice? Have I mimicked what I see on TV? Everybody do that. Comedians do that. People do that all the time. And I do it, and I do it all the time. I do that to everybody, but I do not hate on people. So stop hating." So, according to the 8-time NBA All-Star, what O'Neal said was highly disrespectful to his teammates, the league, and the people of Taiwan. "You're too old to be hating," Howard adds. "You're too big to be hating. You're supposed to be Superman, the original Superman. Shaquille O'Neal, the original Superman, is hating. The OG Superman is hating. Come on, man. We know what you did in basketball. We know how much money you got. You talk about it. We know how much stories you got. We know everything you have done. Shaquille O'Neal, stop hating. There's no need to hate. You did everything in life that everybody wished they could do. They want to be Superman. They want to be you." Is it Howard spent 18 years in the NBA since being drafted number 1 by the Magic in 2004. His career saw. Okay, so they talking about his career, but this is. I'm with Dwight all the way on this right here because it's despicable, and you're being very disrespectful to that league. And that's very disrespectful to those players. And Dwight is shining. He's basically shining a light on that league and what he's doing because now he's got his former players who are going through the process to join him on that team. You know, players who can no longer play in the NBA. You know, so I don't like it at all. And Shaq is always he's a hater. That's what he does. He's a hater. That's what he does.
Yeah, I agree with what you, man. I agree with what you said, Brandon. I don't like it. I think Shaq. I don't even understand the whole gist of the whatever you want to call it between those two, man. A lot of it is been created by Shaq. I know it started with the Superman and all that.
Yeah,
but they haven't been cordial at all. I really feel Dwight has made more of an effort to be cordial with him out of respect. But I got a problem with former athletes. And I don't know. I just feel that when your time is here and your time is gone, then stay the hell out of the spotlight. You know, I know that show TNT, you know, let's be real. Shaq is not one of the best studio voices in America, okay?
No, he's not. Chuck make that show. Let's put it. Ernie and Chuck make the show. No question.
But I agree with Dwight, man. The guy, I mean, out of respect, what he's saying. I understand what he's saying. You know, you've done everything. You got kids want to be Shaq. I respect the things that he does. I mean, this guy done been on I-75 and helped put a tire on for a family. I done seen him help with kids in Gainesville. He came out of nowhere because the kids was playing basketball on one of these goals in the street, and somebody called the police that they were making too much noise. So he does a lot of good. But guys who's been in the spotlight, I just feel, man, get out of the spotlight. I mean, it's like your career is you've done everything, and to start your retirement just trashing players that's not in your generation, it's just, I don't know. It's becoming old. It's becoming, well, you know, even when you watch the TNT show and you hear how they're describing, you know, maybe Golden State or Draymond Green or somebody, and then they always throw in, you know, when I played, when I played, we did it this way, we did it that way, and I mean, come on, man, who cares?
Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. George say they give Howard more credit than Shaq for being the man in Orlando. That's why Shaq gets mad. Yeah, the love that Dwight Howard gets from Orlando, I can see how that would have made him salty. You know. I mean, yeah, you were the man in Orlando, whatever. But this beef is petty, and it makes Shaq. Shaq is 7'7", 7'1". It makes him seem like he's 4 feet tall for this. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
He come up real small in this because, dude, it's stupid. It's stupid, dude. You could have had, because he's a marketing gold mine. You know, from I've seen his Papa John's commercials, and you know he's on. I did a little stint at Best Buy, and he's like, they got him by the printers, and you know whatever. He got all type of stuff. He's could have done so many marketing things with Dwight Howard. You know, where they could have made money together. But this is what you result to, man. It's great. This is the hating, man. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's old. He's older. He's got to be mature, and don't, you know, tarnish another man trying to get his pot of gold. You know, let him get his pot of gold. You know, he may not have had any offers to sign with any teams in the NBA, and this was his best offer, and he took it. He didn't want to retire, so I mean, he's getting paid in Taiwan. So, and then we look back at Shaq's career. Shaq probably played on every team in the East.
Right.
Cleveland, Boston, Phoenix.
Yeah. So I mean, man, this Shaq got to play out. You know, it is what it is. We're going to leave it right there. So, but what's your closing thoughts? You know, especially about these Jags moving forward.
Well, let's be realistic with expectations. I mean, the kid is a good quarterback. He's been good ever since he took the first throw at Cartersville High School. Let it get time to marinate. He's going to be good. He's not going anywhere. He's the quarterback of the future, the next week and the next month and the next year. And let the maturation process develop. You know, if you have a bad game, don't trash it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm just going to enjoy this ride. I'm putting no expectations on the next couple of games. You know, I'm not, well, if they win this game, then they win this game, and then we'll be in this place, and one game at a time. It starts with Detroit. This, if you want to be a different team, because they've said it, that they feel like they're close. They feel like they can make a run. Christian Kirk said they feel like they can make a run. Okay, well, you slayed the Dragon in Baltimore. Go get what should be a win in Detroit. Now, it ain't going to be an easy win, but it should be a win. You should go, after beating Baltimore, you should go beat Detroit. And then, take it one game at a time and go from there. So, I'm going to wait to see.
Yeah, don't talk playoffs unless they get 7 wins.
That's it. That's it. That is it. That's it. And then, the only thing that can help is if Tennessee collapses. But I don't see Tennessee collapsing because Mike Vrabel is a heck of a coach. He's a heck of a coach. Even though Tannehill is not the guy, never was the guy, never will be the guy, Mike Vrabel coaches around Ryan Tannehill. For real, yeah. It's a reason why they wanted Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago. Straight up. Yeah, they wanted to go get him. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias. Follow Mr. Reed on Twitter. And we will be back with more live streams. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, we are out of here. Peace out, y'all.